I'm gonna give you guys a couple of tips of what you should consider when making your logo. Hey babes, it's Vera, and today we are going to talk about how to make the best logo that is iconic, timeless for your brand. I will also be talking about our very own Pellatini logo change so that you guys can learn the lessons and mistakes to hopefully avoid everything that we went through. So I'm going to first explain the two categories that your logo might fall into. And these aren't like official universal category names. I just kind of made them up to help you guys structure and basically understand what I'm talking about. So first we have what I like to call logomania. So this includes symbols that were directly derived from the brand name, a completely separate icon that they came up with, or the initials of the names put together in an aesthetically pleasing way. You guys probably know a bunch of these, and most notably luxury fashion houses. Chanel, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, other things you guys might know, Lululemon, Nike, Alfred Coffee, and obviously Kylie Jenner Cosmetics. These are considered logomania because you guys basically can recognize the brand like that just by looking at the logo. Nowhere in any of these logos says a word, a phrase, the name itself, or anything that helps you get to that assumption. You guys just know. The second category you might fall into is what I like to call brand stamps. So the brand itself is basically the logo. For example, we have Glossier, Pretty Little Thing, Sugarfina, Lush, Revolve. So these brands don't exactly have a very notable icon to represent the brand itself. It basically made its own name a logo. Okay, so how do you choose? Which one do you want to go? Do you want to be a logomania or do you want to be a brand stamp? So obviously this is not a perfect formula because brands fluctuate in between, but first thing you want to think about is placement. Think about what your actual product is. Where are you going to be using the logo and what is it good for? Logomania logos have a lot more freedom to kind of incorporate their logo into their product. You basically can slap it anywhere you want. You can make it as subtle as you want it. You can make it as extra as you want it. You can engrave your logo on a tiny little zipper of your product, or you can make a big ass Gucci belt. So placement is a very big thing to think about. Depending on where you want your logo, you really want to consider if you want to go the logomania route or the brand stamp route. Okay, so then why would you ever want a brand stamp, right? No, one extreme benefit in going the brand stamp route is something I like to call font branding. Take Lush, for example. They don't have like a bath bomb as their logo. Their entire brand is Lush in this slanted, italicized, organic, or rustic way, but they have something called font branding, and that is basically using that Lush font in everything. In their products, in their ads, in their store, the whole brand is basically captured by this font. You can tell that something is backed by Lush just by their font. And this is super powerful because you don't need to rely on a logo. You can basically send a message with just using font alone. And that goes a long way when repping your brand. So regardless of which path you guys choose, I'm gonna give you guys a couple of tips of what you should consider when making your logo. Design your logo without color. The reason why this is so important is because you don't want your logo to be defined by color. So for example, I'm just gonna take, I don't know, Patron. My drunk ass would take Patron. Okay, Patron. So if Patron did this like super cool watercolor paint stroke as Patron, they slapped a P on it, that looks great and cool and everything, but what happens when you turn that black and white? It doesn't become anything. Everything that you see that's so cool about this logo is made from the color, and that's not good because when something is so dependent on your color, it doesn't give the logo any brand equity. You want a story or something aesthetically clever about your logo. Whether your brand stamp is out there or your logomania, you want customers to connect with your company. Your company name should represent something because that's the first thing people see and that's the first thing that people are gonna remember. Make sure your logo looks good scaled. And this goes for both categories. You don't want something super fancy and cursive like freaking Marie Antoinette's signature. What happens when you shrink that shit? You can't see anything. Whether you're creating some type of font branding or just creating a logo from scratch, make sure it looks good, big and small, so you guys don't trap yourself into one dimension. Last but not least, this is super important, especially in this day and age right now, because there's so many brands popping up, startups, small company. Once you've made your logo, ask as many people as you can. And that way you can utilize their memories of all the logos out there if your new logo reminds them of something else. It doesn't help you guys when your logo reminds someone else of something else, then you become a freaking bootleg version of that existing previous logo. and it just confuses people, and you don't want to confuse people because this is your brand, this is your baby. So we are actually changing our very own logo based off of all of these things that we've learned, and I'm gonna show you guys why. This was our very first logo when we first started. It is basically Pellatini in cursive and then a crown up there. Pella in Greek means a rock. And we are all about those natural power crystal pens, and that is basically what made us different from all the other planner brands out there. So that's why I named the company Pellatini. And the crown was just a very naive and simple gesture. It was to represent you are the queen, you are the boss babe, you are that sassy, unapologetic self. But based off of the tips and tricks that we just told you guys, this crown is so overly used. The most what the shit moment that I had was when I was sitting on my couch eating a burrito, and all of a sudden I saw this new Burger King ad, and they had the nerve to revamp their crown to my crown. Like, I was just so shook it, and I was just like, we're changing the logo, this can't be. I was already having that like, oh, I don't wanna change the logo because the logo is plastered on everything. It is on all of our products, freaking gold foiled on some. Our planners have the logos, our boxes have the logos everywhere. Like, we order quantities by the thousands. So when you wanna revamp something, it's hard, girl, it's real hard. So think twice about making your logo, and that's why I wanted to make this video for you guys. So yeah, shook it at Burger King. And then I was like, okay, let's start working on our logo. You can see here we were thinking about a bee, because you know, it's like Queen Bee, you're still Pellatini. And then we realized that this is literally someone's logo, like literally someone's logo. Then we were thinking, okay, what other animals in the kingdom is queen-esque? I was so stubborn and stuck on this animal queen situation. We eventually ended up on a dragonfly. A dragonfly hustles. It's like one of the fastest like predator to prey animals, I guess. I just love the hustle and the ambition that the dragonfly had, and it's like kind of cute, you know? Some other dragonfly forms. And I just like wasn't feeling it. It just looked it didn't look timeless. It didn't look iconic. It just looked there. And then we were like, okay, let's be a little bit more, I guess, modern about it. So then we ended up with incorporating the P into some sort of dragonfly wing. It kind of looked cute, but then there were two things that were wrong with this. First, it looks like a fucking fly. It does not look like a dragonfly. And the second most important reasoning was that how awkward would this be if we decided to do a collab with Alfred? And I've said this before, you don't wanna be a copycat. You don't wanna be the bootleg version of something else. Like, this would have been our collab. And how freaking awkward would that be? And after much thinking and coming out of this animal kingdom of why I was so stubbornly insistent on, we ended up on something that I absolutely love. I just think it's so clever and it has meaning behind it, and I'm obsessed with it. It is this P. That was so anticlimactic. How we got to this was basically something called a pilcrow. I know you guys have definitely seen this before. A pilcrow, I didn't even know there was a name for this, but a pilcrow is basically the start of a paragraph, and it totally makes sense in stationery. I mean, like, duh. But the coolest thing about this pilcrow is that if you flip it around, it is a P. The literal meaning of a pilcrow is a start of a paragraph, and I like to think about it as the start of a new journey. When you open up a brand new planner or a notebook or anything, you guys get a fresh beginning, whether you're using this planner as a fitness journal or your boss babe journey or whatever. This reverse pilcrow symbol fits perfectly. Let me show you guys what it actually looks like, full-blown color and everything. We also decided to do something like a little bit more subtle. That is all I have for you guys today. If you guys are thinking of starting a company or you are in the process of starting your own brand, really take these tips and tricks into mind, because I want you guys to avoid everything that we went through. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!